How about a totally different kind of puzzle for your DIY escape room? There are so many kinds of puzzles you can make, and you're only limited by your imagination. In this series, we've covered math, translate, put in order, put in place, reference puzzles, among others. And you don't have to fit them into these little boxes. You can make whatever you want. So what about doing something more physical? My name is Celeste, and I'm the owner-operator of Escape from Reality by Golden Key Games. And today is day 24 of our 31 days of puzzles for your DIY escape room. In this video, I'm going to show you a couple ways you can use a physical puzzle in your game. A physical type puzzle can be just about anything. I use them occasionally to round out the puzzles in my games. These kind of puzzles work really well in some themes. For instance, if you had a garage or a workshop theme and tools are already involved in the game, then a physical puzzle would be perfect for that kind of theme. But you can almost work a physical puzzle into any theme. Here's how I did that in my escape room. In my spaceship game, I had a bookshelf that had doors that closed on it. And the puzzle that was in there kind of fell apart over time. And so I wanted to replace it with something. And I wanted to replace it with something different. I wanted something that was like totally different than anything else in the room. And most of that other stuff was very tech-based. Okay, so I wanted something that was more physical, didn't have any tech, and I needed it to go in quickly. So this was an easy puzzle and a perfect example for this video. So I had cut a piece of wood to fit inside the bookshelf, nice and snug, and I bought a poster of, because it was a spaceship game, I bought a poster of rocket ships. And this was just a poster that had all the rocket ships in the order that they were put up by all the nations on Earth. And so there was probably 100 rocket ships on this poster. And I took these little screw hooks, and you could use I think I tried to use thumbtacks, but it didn't work as well. I couldn't get them to pound in. So I had these screw hooks, and I screwed these little screw hooks into selected places. And I think there was about 12 of them on there, and they kind of blended in until you really got to look, and then you see all these little hooks sticking out. And then I also had a small rope that had a circle on the end of it, like a key ring. I had it tied onto this key ring. So there was a long rope. It was, probably about 8 to 10 feet long. And then on the inside of the door, so when they did get this door open, they saw this poster, they saw this rope, and then there was a piece of paper on the wall, and it had names of some of the rocket ships. And so what they had to figure out was to use this ring, start at the first one, hook it on that hook, and then wrap it around each of the ones in the order that I put it on the paper. And when it did that, if you did one line at a time, it made a letter. So this one, the first one was P. So I started from the bottom, they went up, up, went up, and then they went over, down, and back over again, and we made a P with one single motion of the rope. And then they took that off, and they did the second line, and they got an I, and so on, and they ended up making the word pilot, which was a code for one of the locks in the room. So that was one way that I used a physical puzzle. There was no tech involved. They just had to figure out what it was trying to tell them when they did the puzzle. The second one was a bit more evolved, or I should say involved. I actually had to have somebody build this for me, and it took about 2 weeks for this person to build it for me. I had a helper back in the day, and he built this for me. And what it was is I called it a marble run, but it wasn't really a marble run. I don't really have a name for it, but what it was, he built it into the window. We had this big window about 6 feet wide, 3 feet tall, and we wanted to utilize that window. And so we took out the glass and used some plexi, and we built in this marble thing. And this was really involved. We 3D printed some bridges, and we used some nylon tubing and 3D printed some other pieces, so that the players, what they had to do is they had to drop the marble in, and then they had to manipulate the bridges in the different places to get the marbles to go in each of the 4 places. And when they did that, when they got the marbles to go in each of the 4 places, then it released another set of marbles a larger set of marbles down a spiral, and that spiral dumped into a bucket, which then lifted up something, and we were able to get an object. So it was very mechanical, but it was made out of nylon tubing, 3D printing. It was made out of wood. I had some Cricut stuff in there. It was a whole thing. It was really, really fun and exciting. From there, they took what was in the box was a handle. So this is actually a bonus puzzle, because when you got that handle, then they went to the other side of the room where there was a whole thing of gears. And then they were to put this handle in, turn the gears, and it actually dropped something else down, another piece that they used to turn something on. So that one was quite involved. It took a lot of time to make that one, but it was a very physical and very mechanical puzzle, and they had to figure it out on their own. So that's 2 ways that I made physical puzzles in my escape room. If you're enjoying the 31 Days of Puzzles, subscribe to our channel so you can get notifications of upcoming videos.